Welcome back to our third session of Whispers of Azura. Tonight we pick up right where we left off, deep within the Goblin Cave, the air thick with the scent of battle. The party stands among the lifeless bodies of their fallen foes, their victory hard won, but their journey far from over. Even though they had emerged victorious, the battle had taken its toll. Wounds ran deep, and Vexis himself had been struck down, teetering on the edge of death. In the darkness of unconsciousness, he felt something, a presence lurking in the farthest corners of his mind. A voice echoed from the abyss, mocking him, laughing at his weakness. Before the shadows could consume him, a surge of warmth pulled him back, Aramel's healing touch bringing him back to the waking world. As Vexis jolted awake, panic overtook him. Without a word, he scrambled to his feet and bolted for the exit, his screams echoing through the cavern. The others exchanged glances, but ultimately chose to ignore his outburst, pressing forward instead. Deeper inside, they came across a dead end, though the wall ahead looked fragile, as if it could be broken through. Wasting no time, they attempted to break it down, only for the ceiling above to give way, crashing down onto Aramel and Oberus. Before they could react, a distant yell rang out, unmistakably Vexis' voice, followed by the guttural snarls of goblins. Vexis, desperate and disoriented from his frantic escape, found himself face to face with a small group of goblins. They wasted no time, charging at him with feral speed. Bloodied and exhausted, Vexis fought back with every ounce of strength he had left, casting his wild magic in erratic bursts. He managed to bring down one goblin, then another, his attacks fueled by sheer will, but his energy was quickly waning. With a final desperate lunge, Vexis nearly felled the third goblin before his body gave out and darkness took him once again, leaving the last goblin standing, its eyes filled with cruel amusement. The rest of the team, frantic and determined, worked tirelessly to break through the collapsed rubble. Hops, though not the strongest, gave it her all, her small but relentless efforts slowly making progress. After what seemed like an eternity, they managed to clear enough of the debris and head toward the sound of battle. But as they moved closer, the noise abruptly stopped. The tension in the air was thick, and the unsettling silence grew heavier with every step. When they reached the clearing, they found Vexis lying unconscious on the ground once more, his body battered, but somehow still clinging to life. With swift hands, the party begins to stabilize him, Aramel working his divine magic to mend the worst of his wounds. As Vexis slowly regained consciousness, his words were faint but urgent. He spoke of the three goblins that had attacked him, how they come at him in a frenzy. But when the party searched the area, they only found 2 goblin corpses. The third, however, had left behind nothing but a large, ominous pile of dust, the remains of a creature that shouldn't have been able to vanish so completely. The mystery only deepened as the group exchanged uneasy glances. Whatever had happened here, it was far from ordinary. As the group made their way out of the cavern, the weight of their recent encounters settling over them, Aramel suddenly stopped in his tracks. His eyes widened with the realization, and a chill ran down his spine. He started, his voice filled with urgency. We forgot the girl. The shock of the revelation hit others just as quickly. The very reason they'd come into this dangerous cave, the girl they fought so hard to save, had been left behind in the chaos without a word. The party quickly turned around, retracing their steps back into the heart of the cavern. They moved with purpose this time, the urgency in their pace clear. They found her where they had left her, still unconscious on the altar. With little hesitation, they carefully scooped her up, making sure she was safe. Every movement felt like an eternity. But they weren't going to leave her behind. With the girl in tow, they made their way back out of the cave, their goal now clear to reunite her with her father, and bring some semblance of peace to a brutal encounter. The group made their way back to the caravan, where the father and Eric had managed to make some repairs. Seeing his daughter safe, the father rushed to her side with tears of joy, expressing his deep gratitude. Thank you, he said to them. He offered to take them to Anchor Bay as a reward for everything they have done. After a brief discussion, the group agreed to join him. With the girl safe and the goblin threat over, they set off together, heading toward Anchor Bay for the next chapter of their journey. A Upon arriving in Anchor Bay, the group bids farewell to the grateful merchant and heads towards the Guildhall. As they walk, Eric pauses and informs him that he must go his own way. He plans to head to Blackthorn, hoping to better himself there. Arimo warns Eric that if he ever falls back into his old ways, they will find him. Eric nods in agreement, swearing to do better before turning and walking off, disappearing into the crowd as the party continues towards their next destination. The party makes their way into the Guildhall, stepping into the grand yet simple chamber where Lord Herrick, a grizzled half-orc, awaits. With a quick nod, they place the proof of their victory, the head of the slain captain, on his desk, alongside the necessary papers. Lord Herrick gives a grunt of approval, though his expression remains stern. He comments that the head wasn't strictly necessary, but appreciates their thoroughness in completing the task. He slides a new set of papers towards them, outlining their next mission. He directs them to a town called Ravensbrook, where rumors of the mayor purchasing slaves have surfaced. Their task is clear: investigate the situation discreetly, without revealing their ties to the guild. With a final nod, Lord Herrick sends them on their way, the weight of their new assignment hanging heavy in the air. The party spends the night preparing their supplies, eager to begin their new mission. The following day, they set out towards Ravensbrook, with Arimo confidently taking the lead, boasting about his superior survival skill. The group follows his direction without question, trusting in his judgment. But after a full day of travel, the landscape begins to feel unfamiliar. The sun starts to dip below the horizon, and the party takes a moment to assess their surroundings. It's then that they realize the truth. Arimo had led them in the completely wrong direction. Instead of heading west, they had been traveling east. The group pauses, taking in the situation, realizing they've wasted a whole day. Though frustration brews, they regroup and prepare to correct their course, with Arimo promising to be more cautious moving forward. As the party sets up camp for the night, Oberst takes charge of cooking, preparing a hearty meal to lift everyone's spirits after their long day of travel. The crackling fire casts flickering shadows around them as they sit down to eat, sharing stories and laughs. Just as they're settling in, an old man approaches the campfire from the darkness. With a steady, confident voice, he introduces himself as Thalor Grimblade, a student from the Divine Tower on his way to Blackthorn to compete in the Colosseum. His weathered appearance and battle-hardened demeanor hint at a life full of experience. Vexis, ever eager to test his abilities, challenges Thalor to a friendly duel. His eyes spark with competitive energy as he readies himself for the match. Arimo steps forward to referee, ensuring the duel stays fair and friendly. The night air hums with anticipation as the two prepare for their contest, their companions gathering around to watch the display of skill and strength under the moonlit sky. As soon as the battle begins, a low hum emanates from the old man, resonating through the air like a rhythmic chant. With fluid grace, he draws the blade, and Vexis quickly realizes he's facing a bladesinger. Thalor moves with incredible speed, his sword dancing through the air as he charges forward. Vexis braces himself, countering as best as he can, launching spells in rapid succession. In a final effort, he unleashes a massive fireball, the flames roaring toward his opponent. But as the fire dissipates, Thalor stands unscathed, his magic shielding him effortlessly. Before Vexis can react, a swift strike lands true, then another. In mere moments, he's overwhelmed, brought to his knees before collapsing to the ground. As darkness creeps at the edge of his vision, he vows, next time, he will win. The man thanks Obrist for the meal, before gathering his things and continuing on his way. As dawn breaks, the party sets out once more, determined to reach Ravensbrook, and this time, heading in the right direction. With their path finally set, their journey continues. That concludes this session. Next time, we'll see what awaits the party in Ravensbrook. I look forward to seeing you all there.